The statue had been standing there longer than anyone could remember. At the edge of Black Hollow Cemetery, where the land dipped low and fog clung to the ground even in summer, the Black Angel watched over rows of forgotten graves. Its wings were spread wide, frozen in a moment that felt less like protection and more like warning. No one remembered when it turned black. Old photographs showed it pale once, almost white, carved from smooth stone. But now its surface was dark, uneven, as if stained by years of shadow rather than weather. Rain never washed it clean. Sunlight never warmed it fully. And the locals never went near it. They told their children not to run past that section of the cemetery. They avoided burying their dead anywhere close to the statue. And when asked why, they always gave the same answer. Some things are meant to be left alone. That was the first thing Ethan Ward laughed at when he heard it. Ethan didn't believe in curses. He didn't believe in haunted statues, vengeful spirits, or small-town legends passed down through fear instead of fact. He believed in psychology, coincidence, and how easily people could scare themselves when they didn't understand something. That belief had made him popular. His YouTube channel specialized in debunking urban legends. He traveled from town to town, exposing haunted houses as abandoned buildings, ghost sightings as camera artifacts, and cursed locations as nothing more than old places with bad reputations. Millions watched his videos. And now, he was standing at the rusted gates of Black Hollow Cemetery, camera rolling, smiling like someone about to prove a point. This, Ethan said into the lens, is the Black Angel. According to local legend, anyone who disrespects it suffers consequences. He paused, smirking. Which is exactly why we're here. Behind him stood the other two. Lena Moore, a psychology graduate student who helped Ethan research folklore and human fear responses. She believed in patterns, trauma, and suggestion, not the supernatural. And Caleb Ross, a freelance videographer who'd seen enough abandoned places to know fear didn't need ghosts to feel real. Still, he didn't believe statues moved on their own. None of them did. They walked through the cemetery as the fog thickened around their ankles, gravestones emerging like broken teeth from the earth. The air was unnaturally quiet. No birds, no insects, no wind. Just the sound of their footsteps crunching against gravel. Lena glanced around. Doesn't this place feel muted? Caleb adjusted his camera. That's just sound dampening. Fog does that. Ethan stopped in front of the statue. Up close, the Black Angel was massive. Its wings towered overhead, feathers carved with sharp, unnatural detail. Its face wasn't peaceful like most angels carved in cemeteries. Its mouth was slightly open, eyes hollowed deep enough that shadows lived inside them. Someone had once engraved a name at the base. The name had been violently scratched out. That's vandalism, Ethan said. Not a curse. He reached out. Lena's stomach tightened. Ethan, maybe don't touch it. He laughed and placed his hand against the statue's surface. It was warm. Not sun-warmed. Alive warm. Ethan pulled his hand back quickly, frowning. That's weird. Caleb zoomed in. Stone doesn't do that. Lena felt the air shift. The fog thickened, crawling higher, wrapping around the statue's base like something coiling upward. For a moment, just a moment, she thought the angel's shadow stretched in the wrong direction. Then it was gone. Let's get the shots and leave, she said quietly. Ethan shook off the feeling and raised his voice for the camera. As you can see, nothing happened. No lightning. No curse. Just a statue and a bunch of scared stories. He knocked his knuckles against the angel's chest. The sound echoed longer than it should have. That night, Ethan dreamed of wings scraping stone. He dreamed of standing alone in the cemetery while the angel slowly turned its head, joints grinding, feathers shifting, until it was looking directly at him. You mocked what guards the dead, a voice whispered, not from the statue's mouth, but from inside his skull. He woke up screaming. A black mark stained his palm, shaped like fingers gripping skin. By morning, it hadn't faded. Lena noticed first. That wasn't there yesterday. Ethan laughed it off, though his voice sounded strained. Probably bruised it. But the dreams didn't stop. Each night, the angel came closer. Each morning, the mark spread, dark veins creeping up his wrist, pulsing faintly beneath the skin. Caleb suggested leaving town. Ethan refused. Fear feeds myths, he said. That's the whole point. The town stopped talking to them. Shop owners went quiet when Ethan entered. Conversations ended mid-sentence. At a diner, an old woman crossed herself when she saw his hand. Finally, an elderly groundskeeper spoke. "You touched it," the man said flatly. Ethan didn't deny it. "It's a statue." The groundskeeper's eyes darkened. "It's a seal." That night, Ethan vanished. His motel room was untouched. His wallet, phone, and keys lay neatly on the table. Black feathers littered the bed. Cold, damp, and real. Lena Moore did not sleep the night Ethan disappeared. She sat on the edge of her motel bed, knees pulled to her chest, staring at the black feathers sealed inside a plastic evidence bag. They hadn't been there before. She knew that. She and Caleb had torn the room apart looking for some logical explanation, an open window, a prank, anything. There was nothing. No broken glass. No sign of forced entry. No blood. Just feathers. Cold to the touch. Heavy in a way feathers shouldn't be. Caleb paced the room, rubbing his temples. "We call the police," he said again. "And say what?" Lena replied quietly. "That a statue took our friend?" Caleb stopped pacing. "Something happened," he said. "You know it did." Lena looked down at her shaking hands. She'd spent years studying fear, how the human mind created monsters out of stress, grief, and uncertainty. She had taught herself to dismantle panic with logic. But logic was collapsing. Because deep down, beneath everything she knew and trusted, one thought kept returning. Ethan mocked it. One, the second non-believer. The police wrote Ethan's disappearance off as a voluntary missing person case. "Grown man," the sheriff said, unimpressed. "Plenty of folks leave town without saying goodbye." Lena almost laughed at that. Ethan would never abandon his equipment, his channel, his reputation, his proof. That afternoon, Lena listened to the audio files again. There were recordings she didn't remember capturing, static-heavy tracks buried between clean takes. At first, she thought it was interference. But when she boosted the volume, her breath caught. Underneath the static was a voice. Not Ethan's. Not Caleb's. Hers. Whispering. Repeating the same phrase over and over. 3 who doubt. 3 who mock. 3 who stay. Her stomach turned cold. Caleb listened in silence, face pale. "That wasn't you," he said finally. "I know." They returned to Black Hollow Cemetery just before sunset. Not because they wanted to, because something was pulling them back. The fog was thicker than before, rolling low and heavy, clinging to gravestones like a living thing. As they approached the Black Angel, Lena noticed something immediately. The statue's wings were wider. Not dramatically, just enough that if you hadn't seen it before, you might not notice. But Lena had been there. She remembered how far they'd stretched. Now they cast longer shadows. The angel's face looked different too. The hollow eyes seemed deeper. And the mouth, once strained, once neutral, curved upward into something like a smile. Caleb raised his camera, with trembling hands. "I don't like this." Lena stepped closer, heart pounding. At the base of the statue, where the scratched-out name had been, new marks had appeared. Fresh. 3 lines carved into the stone. 1 complete. 2 unfinished. "No," Lena whispered. The air shifted. She felt it before she heard it, a low vibration beneath her feet, like something massive settling into place. Then came the sound. Stone grinding against stone. Slow. Deliberate. Caleb turned toward her. "Lena, did you hear?" He stopped. Because the statue's head had turned. Only slightly, but enough. Caleb stumbled backward, nearly dropping his camera. "That's not possible," he gasped. "That's not." The angel's wings twitched. Not flapped. Tensed. Lena ran. She didn't remember leaving the cemetery. She only remembered the sound of Caleb screaming behind her. Not in pain, but in realization. The kind of scream someone makes when they understand something far too late. Caleb was reported missing 2 days later. His camera was found at the base of the statue. Still recording. 2. The footage. Lena watched the footage alone in her motel room. The first few minutes were shaky, panicked shots of gravestones and fog. Caleb's breathing was loud in the microphone. Then the camera steadied. The black angel filled the frame. The footage glitched. For several seconds, the statue appeared normal. Then it moved. Not fast. Not violently. Its wings folded inward, joints bending where no joints existed before. Its head tilted down, eyes locking directly onto the lens. Caleb whispered, "Ethan?" The statue's mouth opened, and Ethan's voice came out. "Not whole. Not right. You were warned." The camera fell to the ground. The last thing visible was the angel's shadow stretching outward, not in response to light, but as if reaching. The recording ended. Lena packed her bags that night. She didn't go back to the cemetery. She didn't go back to the motel office. She left town without looking in her rearview mirror. 3. The third non-believer. Lena believed she could outrun it. She was wrong. The dreams followed her. Every night, she stood before the statue while voices whispered behind her. Every night, she felt cold stone fingers close around her wrist. Every morning, she woke with new black marks on her skin. Not bruises. Handprints. She researched obsessively. Old newspapers. Forgotten forums. Archived town records. The pattern was always the same. 3 people. Always 3. Skeptics. Vandals. Doubters. 1 disappeared first. 1 returned, changed. 1 tried to escape. None succeeded. The black angel wasn't a curse. It was a collector. And Lena was the last debt. 4. The return. They found Lena's car parked at the edge of Black Hollow Cemetery 1 week later. The engine was cold. The doors unlocked. Inside the cemetery, the black angel stood darker than ever, its surface now almost completely black, as if soaked in shadow. At the base of the statue were 3 carved lines, all complete. Witnesses claimed the statue's wings were fully spread now, wider than before. Protective. Or possessive. No one touched it again. The town fenced off that section of the cemetery. They put up warning signs. But no one needed them. Because sometimes, late at night, when the fog rolls in just right, people swear they can hear voices coming from the angel's shadow. 3 voices. Still arguing. Still insisting none of this was real.